It's time to get your clicks fix. Welcome back to Clicks Fix. I'm Rory. It has been one day since I played with pint-sized plastic people. And it was a lot of fun yesterday. I only played one game, but it was a fun one. Totally got my butt kicked, but still fun. Anyway, today we're going to do a video much like the last one. I figured that I would do the another top 5 per rarity video for Masters of Time. I wanted to do it a little bit earlier. Sorry about the bouncing. I'm on a bed. I'm still in transition. And let's get going with these top 5 per rarity for Masters of Time. Now, keep in mind these are just my personal 5 favorite figures from each rarity. Doesn't mean I think they're actually going to be the most relevant in meta or higher level play. Mostly just means I think they're going to be fun. Some of them I think will make a few waves, and some of them have already been talked about quite a bit as doing so. Anyway, let's get to it. First one that I like in the rare, in common, Dead Man. I really like Dead Man just because, I mean, mind control is such an awesome power, and he's a character that at least has a chance to get in there and do his mind control. I mean, he only has sidestep, but he's got the 2 rollouts with the shape change and super senses. But once he's next to somebody, he can keep mind controlling that person because you can place him next to them. So if they have a tent pole and you just want to have the tent pole get rid of all the supporting guys, yeah, living next to train tracks right now. Anyway, have Dead Man do his mind control, and then the character does his thing, does his attacks, then you can place Dead Man next to him, and then the next turn, hopefully, if he's not full on actions, he can do the same thing. And he ignores, for movement, ignores elevated and blocking and people, so you can't really lock him down or keep him away from whoever he wants to get next to. And if you do manage to hit him, you're taking Mystics. All that for 40 points, I think that's a pretty solid common. Next one, Ginny Hex. And she's not great on keywords, just Young Justice and Marksman. Marksman is, great if you have the arrows, the trick arrows, so she could use those. But she's got the quick draw trait, which is always just a good bonus when Ginny Hex hits with a ranged attack. If it was your first action this turn, after resolves, remove an action token from her. So that's solid for just 40 points. The fun thing is, though, on her top 3 clicks, she's got the Blades, Claws, Fangs, but also for range attacks. So even though she only has a 2 damage, doing Blades at range is always fun. And I'm thinking just in a common slot, a character that can do Blades at range is just really cool. Has the potential to just running shot and deal 6 damage, while having enhancement for everybody else that might be shooting on her team. Anyway, moving on. That was simple, but I thought it was awesome. Common number 3, now this is also generic, is the Prehistoric Warrior. Now, this Prehistoric Warrior, he doesn't have any special attack power, special powers or traits or anything like that. But he's just 25 points for 5 clicks of health. So they have to, normally they're going to have to invest at least 2 attacks into him to kill him. For 25 points, I think that is solid. And when he has the potential to charge blades, I think that's great at the beginning. And he's got Empower his whole dial, so if you have several of them, they're just a menace. Even if they get knocked off of their blades, they have the potential to do a lot of damage if they're in a group. Although their attack isn't great, but whatever. You can't ask that much for 25 points. Moving on, number 4. Sorry, Animal Man. Animal Man again has no special traits or powers, but he is just a solid figure at 60 points, starting off with charge, super strength, impervious, and close combat expert. So at the very beginning, just by himself, he's got to get charge in 4 and do 12 attack for 5 damage. And if he's carrying something, 6 damage, maybe 7, depending on what kind of object he's carrying, or terrain marker. That's just has the potential for a lot of damage right off the bat for 60 points. I think it's pretty awesome. And he's got some great keywords. Justice League, Animal, Cosmic, Mystical, Scientist. Yeah, those are some great keywords. So I could totally see him being in maybe some pulp teams. And for the last common in this list, and keep in mind these aren't in any particular order. I didn't want to order them in any way. Just top 5 from each rarity. Last common that I'd have here is Mr. Mind, the little one. Again, he doesn't have that great of, I mean, he's got monster and animal. Those are great keywords. The rest of them are kind of unless you're doing a Time Stealers team. Train. Hopefully you don't hear it too much. But also, again, he doesn't have any special traits or special powers or traits, but he's only 30 points. He has an 8 range, dual target mind control, ignoring characters, and for line of fire. And he can shoot out of adjacency if he needs to. And he starts with outwit, so he can outwit somebody, and then he's just, for 30 points, he's really good. And, as we'll get to later, he might not even be on the board to do those things. Okay, moving into the uncommons. Now, this is the only Batman I'm going to put on the list, though I think pretty much all of the Batman pieces can kind of fit on this list just because you can switch them out. So it's kind of like any Batman is really good because they can, it's a Swiss Army knife. I love Swiss Army knife pieces. It's like, oh, what do I need right now? Let's pull in this guy. But if you haven't read through them, yeah, Return of Bruce Wayne, and they're all 60 points, which is a decent point value for all of them. Return of Bruce Wayne, at the beginning of your turn, you may choose. Remember, it's just at the beginning of the turn. It's not a free action. Replace Batman with another one with this trait on the same click number, or heal him. And I think that's why they didn't make it a free action, is because, like, okay, you got to choose now whether you want somebody else or you want to heal the guy that you have out. But I love having that option. Like, if you have a guy out that you want to keep using, it's like, okay, if he's been hurt, I'll just heal him so he lasts longer. Other trait for this one, this Batman, number 18, free. If Batman didn't begin to turn on your map, generate a smoke terrain marker in his square. So if you're bringing this one in, easy to just get him in stealth and hindering to give him some protection because he might need it. A really cool thing, he's got Steel Energy, his whole dial, but the top 4 clicks Steel Energy, and when he KOs an opposing character after resolutions, he may make an attack. So unless you're already in the mix, this Batman does not get into the mix that well, because as you can see, he only has Flurry as a movement. So unless you give him like the Hell Cycle or something like that, motorcycle, probably not the one you want to have on your starting force. But once he's in the mix, he can make 3 attacks. Like he's got flurry. If he kills somebody, then he can also make another attack. So get him surrounded by a bunch of guys and have him take him out. I like him. And I'm not going to go into all the other Batman pieces, but they all have their own pretty dang cool stuff. I heard about a really good all Batman team that was a lot of fun. It was in Dial H's last podcast. Yeah, sounds like a lot of fun. Somebody played it at some tournament that they were just talking about. Anyway, moving on from Batman. Another uncommon is Zatanna. She's a piece that I played with yesterday, and I really liked her. She ended up rolling 10 or higher for me, so I turned her into the demon Etrian, which was kind of fun. She'd been hurt a bit, so it was kind of worth it. She Again, I love Swiss Army knife pieces, and she can she can choose any standard power at the beginning of the turn, which is just great. And she was very useful for my game. I love that her dial is also symmetrical when you look at it with all the colors and the numbers. It's pretty cool. But she's got some really decent powers of her own that she's not just choosing. So I just think she's a really, really awesome piece. Fun to play with. 70 points. She might not hit meta games, but a lot of fun. Anthro. I like Anthro. Just brute, past, and warrior keywords, but they can be used. There's some decent. I mean, especially past. There's some great past teams, but his trait. When Anthro attacks a character with a giant or colossal symbol, that character can't use defense powers for this attack. So, I mean, top click, if he can go in and attack Kong, Kong's going down. You start 55 points, 6 attack, 6 movement, 11 attack, 17 defense, and 4 damage. Got the charge, blades, toughness, and a special damage power, which is leadership and support. You don't often see some of those. I mean, I'm sure warriors have some good leaders, but he's being one of them. But you don't see many warriors brutes with support. And I think I put him on a team from before. I think it was a warrior team and used him for support. But especially with the colossal figures that came out in this set, being able to just ignore their defense powers, if you can get him in, I mean, definitely they're going to see him as a threat. They're going to try to target him. And until he gets up close, he is kind of in trouble. So you got to figure out a way to protect him or use him as, hey, look over here, while the rest of your team hits him from behind. But I just think he's a lot of fun, especially this little guy, 55 points. I can ignore your giant character's defense powers, including stop clicks if the stop is on their defense. Next, Wonder Woman. Again, she is a figure that I have used on a team build before in a video. I believe it was the Warrior one as well, because I wanted to protect Old King Thor. Yeah. So I really like her for that protection. I don't think she'll see much play at 120 points. That's a little too much when she only can charge in, and she'll still take penetrating damage. But the first trait, 1, friendly characters with a mystical keyword have JLA, the team ability, which is awesome. So they can get boosted to their defense, targeting the right opposing characters. Traded defend. If you're playing her at top dial, it's great at 19, but I wouldn't worry about that too much because usually you're going to just want to play her at 50. 18 defense, it's fine. Like other people get hurt and they get a lower defense. Like she could help with I just talked about him. Anthro. Yeah, just boosting his defense. Just one little bit on the defense. But the rest of the power was what's great. Once per turn, when a standard friendly character within 4 squares that shares a keyword with Wonder Woman is targeted with an attack, you may choose to place Wonder Woman and the friendly character in each other's squares, and she becomes the target of the attack. So just a really nice way to try to protect a figure that might be more critical to your team than she is. So that's a kind of a unique thing, and that's why she's on my list. I like her when you can do unique things like that. Last uncommon, I believe, on the list, Red Arrow. Another marksman. Awesome to have a marksman with the trick arrows. But I really like her, especially for marksman team. Oliver's daughter. Adjacent friendly characters with the marksman keyword have an extra target. Granting more targets is so awesome. I love being able to do that. Love having as many targets as possible, especially if you have like, yeah, energy explosion, boom, 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 trying to hit several clusters of people. Or, just to see who am I going to actually hit. It's like, I want to hit this person with a really high defense, but if not, I need the consolation prize of hitting this other support character that I also do need to get rid of, just not as critical. So being able to balance that with multiple targets, I think is really awesome. For targeting, she also ignores characters, and she's a solid 50 points herself, 6 clicks of health, 2 targets already on herself, running shot, precision strike, ESD, and enhancement. I mean, if she's already next to him to give him another target, she's enhancing them as well. I like her. Now I believe we're moving on to the rares. One of the coolest rares in the set. Great to follow the last figure is Green Arrow. Marksman. Love this guy. It'd have been a cooler sculpt, I think. I like the Robin Hood look, but I think they could have made him like in more of an action pose. Longbow Hunter, precision strike on that special attack. When he's given a range action, he may modify his range by +3. If he does, he can't target more than one character this action. So if it's really that critical to hit somebody even further away, that would boost his range to a 9. That's pretty awesome. And on those same clicks that he has that power, he has Range Combat Expert. When he attacks, opposing characters can't use Mastermind or Shape Change, which are some really good powers to ignore. Ignores elevated and hindering and can shoot while adjacent. I really like this Green Arrow. Probably going to be using him only at 75 points is higher because I want those powers. Having that precision strike at a range of 9, and he's got a 13 attack for 4 damage that ignores Shape Change and Mastermind. I really like him. He's not bad at 50, and he gets those powers again at the bottom of his dial. But yeah, I'm probably using him at 75 points and with trick arrows so he can make another attack afterwards. Oh, yeah, love it. Anyway, moving on. I've talked about this character before, Supergirl. I love Supergirl. As any character that has a stop click on your team, you're like, oh, how am I going to keep them alive? Just put Supergirl on your team. 70 points. Yeah, it's a little steep, but she does more than just that. Sorry about the camera. Yeah, she's got her own stop click, but the main thing is this trait. When another friendly character is damaged by an attack, if Supergirl hasn't healed them yet this turn, after resolutions, heal that character 1 click. Again, I was listening to Dial H's podcast, and he's mentioning Supergirl. And yeah, now that the Soul Sword is gone from Modern, if you got a bunch of stop clicks on your team, and you want to make it just that much harder for your opponent to get through them, Supergirl is a way to go. And she's cosmic is a great keyword. Warrior can be a great keyword. Future, I think, is going to be pretty good too. Past is probably better than future at the moment, but future is great. And then when she attacks colossal or bigger characters, her combat values are boosted by 1 when you're playing her at 70 points. I don't know why you'd play her at 100. She is not as dangerous herself at 100. It gives her another stop click, sure, but yeah, I think 70 is the way to go with her. Love that Supergirl. Managed. Shout out to my play group here in San Antonio. They had just like a box of stuff from Masters of Time that they had. It was extras for them, and I was able to get Supergirl from there. I got several rares because I was not able to buy much from this set because of the move, but I was able to get quite a few rares from those guys. One of them being the Alpha Strike, Asael. Still trying to remember everybody's names. Thanks, guys, for welcoming me into your group. Moving on. Flash. The rare Flash. Probably one of the best versions of just normal Flash that we've had. But, oh, in Sealed, he was awesome. He was the reason that my team lost when I was using Prince Kal-El at full points, and the only one that could hit him on his 20 defense was the Flash. And I couldn't hit the Flash. He kept rolling a shape change or a super senses. Oh, it's annoying. But this guy's great. Love him. Hypersonic speed, when you use it, he can ignore a lot of stuff. And when he attacks characters with an and being able to just like attack through a wall or attack from lower or higher elevation. Yeah. I love it. Fun character, unique stuff that he can do. And a 50-50 shape change. Yeah, he's good. Then we have probably the one that's not surprising to anybody, Perdegaton. He's just really awesome, rare, and he's a kind of a Swiss Army knife as well, so you can kind of choose which of the 3 you want. I've only played against him, and I've only played against him when he was just 20 points. So when I did hit him, he died pretty quickly, but he's just so useful. Being able to rearrange your opposing characters in their starting area at the beginning, that alone is just nuts. And he's got traded prob. An opposing character misses him when one rolls up. And he's got hyper time. Oh yeah, you can read him. He's crazy. He does a lot. Get him if you can. I don't think I don't have him yet. Next, another really awesome. There were some really just solid rares in this set. I think it was tough to make some of these choices for top 5 rares, just because there were a decent amount of rares that I really liked. Uncommons, it was kind of tough to choose because there wasn't as much that just stuck out to me. So I was like, okay, what am I going to bring in to the top 5? But commons, that one had a lot of good choices. Rares had a lot of good choices. This being one of them. Robin was so yeah, him being able to make another attack or letting other people choose powers. I'll just read the powers real quick. Traded the traits. Watch and learn once per turn. When Robin hits, choose a friendly character that shares a keyword with Robin and a power printed on this card. That character can use the chosen power until your next turn. So yeah, he's rewarding the rest of the team when he makes a successful attack, which is awesome. Competitive to a fault, once per turn for all characters with this trait. When a friendly character that shares a keyword with Robin misses, after resolutions, Robin may make an attack targeting the missed character. if able. So that's awesome too. He's really a good team player. I'm almost curious why he doesn't have the team player, because he just works well with his team as long as they share keywords. Sorry. And he's got some great keywords. Assassin, marksman as well, martial artists. I think assassins. I love assassin teams. He's definitely going to be on a future assassin team, especially when you can just sneak him on the team for 30 points. Yeah, he might have to get close because he has charge at 30 points, but still, he's Batman team ability, so have him in stealth as he gets close. Love that Robin. Okay, now moving into super rares. Also, decent amount of awesome super rares. John Constantine is our first. Just hit the beginning of his first trait is awesome. I used John yesterday. I kind of proxied him in, so just used him because he was supposed to be on the team, but the the person I was borrowing him from was not able to make it. But just not letting anybody else use probability control it's awesome. Yes, it affects the rest of your team, but if they really want to get rid of John to use their probs, that'll open up your team for probs. Especially like if you're doing mystical, there's a lot of prob potential on mystical teams, which I think is the most likely keyword that he's going to be used with. I didn't get a chance to do when an opposing character within range uses Outwit or Perplex. I did not get a chance to do that. He was not using Outwit or Perplex. I don't think he had it when I was using him, but it's still just an awesome thing. You don't want to roll the 1, but if you roll 4 through 6, you can choose how they use that power within his range, which is a decent 6. And he's got a free placement within 4 squares, which is great, and stealth at the top, on the top half of his dial, that is, and his own prob, and he has Outwit there. It's just for 50 points, he's hard to beat. Anyway, yeah. Whoever this, I believe this one was designed by a player. This was one of the things that they did there. Whoever designed him, good job. I like him. Now, I gotta put this guy on there because when you make a one-man army that can be effective and difficult to beat, even in sealed, or even, yeah, he's dark side. He's at the very least, he's a fun character to play with. Now, the errata that happened, didn't happen to him, but it was mostly because of him for pilots. I don't think a pilot trait needed to be errated. I just think that dark side needed to be changed a bit. That's my opinion. I liked using Doc Sasquatch as a pilot, where he could come out and then you still have to kill him multiple times. Hopefully just twice if you're the one trying to kill him. But yeah, I'm not going to read through the entire thing, but yeah, he's a beast. He is a beast. I watched one game from Dice Station Zebra where he used Dark Side, and Rob beat him. Rob beat down Dark Side, but it was a battle, and it was a really good game. I think one of the biggest reasons he was able to do that was because he had Green Arrow, which outranged Dark Side. So anyway, I wish I could get him. I would like to have a Dark Side, even if it's just for like larger point games. Swamp Thing. I love versions of Swamp Thing. I don't have that many of them. One of the ones I do have is the White Lantern version of Swamp Thing. I would love to get the Black Lantern, the Prime one of this, but this is a really good Swamp Thing too. Traded plasticity and poison. Great combo there, especially if it's in a trait. Free, generate a plant hindering terrain marker within 4 squares to line of fire. This game that marker has is very common with a lot of the plant terrain markers these days. But he also has free, make a close attack, but only to target a character occupying a square with any plant terrain marker, regardless of adjacency. Oh, that's good. I mean, he's 95 points, but being able to do free close attacks at possibly 4 range away. Yeah, it'll give them a +2 defense for against range attacks, but he's not doing that. He's doing a close attack. And he can move wherever he wants. You can't lock him down with somebody that can't be poisoned, so he can just go away. And trade his shape change and support. Support on a 95-point character. I think if that's your point investment, you're going to want him making the attacks. But he can make a free attack. So then he could just use his normal action to do support if you want to heal up somebody else on your team. Free, choose one to use until you choose, and he can change his size. Oh my gosh. I don't think I've read over this guy enough times. I just keep seeing things that I like more and more. Then, towards the end of his dial, super senses. Free, remove plant terrain markers within 4 squares of Swamp Thing from the game. If you do after resolutions, he can use regen as free. Yeah. So if you get him down, you want to finish him off before he heals. But, oh man, I like him. He might not be crazy meta or anything like that, but fun he is. Especially when he can fit, and he's a herald, so he can use any of the gods for free. I like it. I like it. 1, 2, 3. Number 4 for the super rares is Shadow. I have only seen Shadow in play, I think, on another Dice Station Zebra game, but talking to some of the guys at my local venue is like, oh, Shadow's not unique. You can do multiple shadows, and that means you can make a lot of attacks. And they can all use enhancement on each other. Oh, it's just, yeah. Even at just 30 points. Really, really fun, super rare. Again, she might not be hard to take down, to kill, if you got the right team, if you bring them in, yeah. But the potential she has for doing damage, or at least just landing attacks, is great. Now, the range, make up to 3 range attacks when she does. She can't target characters that took damage this turn. So that could, one, be used just to make sure you are hurting your opponents. Because if they have really high defenses, it's like you get a lot of chances to attack, or if they have crazy super senses. But that's all. She's got 3 targets as well. So she can make, if they have a lot of targets for you to hit, she ignores characters for attacks too, for line of fire. So even if they're trying to hide behind, she can get them. Man, yeah, I like her. Very interesting. So good. Wish I could get her. I don't have any of the super rares from this set, but. And then Caveman Wally West. Now, earlier I wasn't thinking too much of. The reason I think he won't be crazy is because he only has a 10 attack. But I think he needs to only have a 10 attack, or else, because then you have to invest some perplexes or whatever into boosting up his attack to try to land his attacks, but hypersonic speed and then being able to turn into that other click number 8, then flurry, blades, and exploit. He has the potential to do a lot of damage. And opposing characters within 3 squares can't use super senses. I'm just turning off super senses. Ugh, he's good. He is good. I would love to have me one of these guys. He's got great keywords. Animal, past, warrior, speedster. Speedster isn't huge right now, but animal and past are some solid keywords. And Justice League always is a solid keyword. And okay, that's our super rares. Now we're moving into the chases. Now, I combined the regular size chases with all of the colossals in my here top 5s, which made it difficult to choose which ones I wanted to put on the top 5 list. But anyway, here we go. Now this first one, I will admit, is biased. He's on my top 5 list mostly just because he's the one I pulled and I really enjoyed playing with him. And that is Prince Kal-El. He has some good keywords. Cosmic Past, Ruler, Warrior. Ruler's still a really awesome keyword, especially if you're going in silver games. Having Ruler, and you want to play him on a Ruler team because of his special movement, which he has at all of his starting clicks and his final click. But I'll just read it. Well, before we get to his traits, we'll just read this movement power because that's why I want him on a Ruler team. Hypersonic speed, once per turn, when Prince Kal-El uses it and hits after resolutions, another friendly character with the Ruler keyword may make an attack targeting a hit character. Ooh, stiff legs. So, yeah, that's why you want him on a Ruler team, so you can have your other Rulers take extra shots. Now, the point value at which you play him might change it kind of depends. If you're going to have other big pointed rulers that you want to make multiple attacks and he can give them, extra attacks, you might want to play him at lower dial, maybe just 100. Kind of just depends on what else you want to pair him with. But let's get into the other traits. Characters take a maximum of 3 damage from attacks. Now that, I love it. It does limit you as well. Doesn't do too much to him because, well, at top dial, he's got penetrating damage. He only has 3 damage, though, for if he's using Pensai. So he's already doing that 3 damage, unless they have like invincible or reduced penetrating, whatever it is. But that's another thing. He's got 5 damage on his later clicks, but that's because, if he's going to attack a character with invuln or invincible or impervious or whatever, that'll still let him potentially do that full 3 damage. And just making it so your opponents can't just destroy your entire team really fast by doing tons, like attacks with tons of damage. I like that. Kind of just like, okay, we actually have to get in a fight here. So that's one reason I like him, is because he forces you to actually play the game of Heroclix. Characters without the mystical keyword can't positively modify their attack value when attacking Prince Kal-El. That's awesome. I think it's a really great way to do Kryptonian stuff. Like if they are mystical, they get better attacks. Prince of Kingdom of El, leadership. When Prince Kal-El uses it and succeeds after resolutions, you may remove an action token from a friendly character with Superman or Batman ally team abilities. And that includes himself. So if he succeeds on leadership, he can also take a token off of himself, which is kind of like a willpower. Kids are yelling. Anyway, really, I like Prince Kal-El. Really fun character to play with. Ooh, this video is getting a little longer, but we're almost done. Now, a lot of people have been talking about him. I have not seen him in action, but he is good, especially when you can only need to play him at 30 points. Green Man, great keyword: assassin, cosmic, herald, mystical, past, politician, but those ones are great. If you're playing him at 150, he'll have these powers: energy explosion, penetrating psychic blast, great combination. Once per turn, when he KOs a character, after resolutions, he may make an attack. So yeah, being able to running shot, energy explode, maybe kill a bystander or a time breaker. Oh, now he can make another attack. Makes him more worth 150, and with invincible and mastermind. Yeah, he's dangerous at 150. But if you just play him at 30, he starts with the running shot and pulse wave, which is great. And barrier. I mean, he's only 30 points. You might want to be using barrier to keep the rest of your team safe. But he's got this damage power, enhancement, and outwit. Great, great for a support character like that. Once per game, when an adjacent friendly character hits, you may choose that hit characters can't use stop this attack. That's awesome. No matter if it's on their defense or attack or wherever the stop is, he can make it so they can't use stop. And adjacent friendly characters modify range +1 and ignore elevation for making those for line of fire. Yeah, being able to ignore stops. Yeah, really like characters that can do that. Like he is on the top 5. Now, Diana, other chase. I've seen her in action. She helped Old King Thor destroy me. Now, several of the chases in the set have this kind of thing, like with Prince Kal-El, does hypersonics and he hits, and somebody that has shares a keyword, no, somebody with the ruler keyword can then make an attack. The version of Supergirl, I think it is, I can't remember the name of the chase. That one is another one that does it. Like when she hits, somebody with a shared keyword can make free attacks. Diana's, in her special movement, charge flurry, when Diana uses flurry the first time. No, sorry. Ooh, wrong one. Looking at one of the traits. Amazon's attack. Empower. When Diana attacks, if it was the first attack this turn, after resolutions, place another friendly character that shares a keyword with Diana adjacent to her. So any keyword shared with her, she does not have to hit. You just place them. So somebody that has tough time moving around, doesn't have a movement attack, whatever it is. Like the team I faced, they used Old King Thor. Like, oh, okay, now he's coming up and he's gonna pulse wave and do possibly 6 damage to one of my characters. Yeah, it was crazy. And he had a way to protect his team from his friendly pulse wave. It was just crazy. Anyway, she also modifies other friendly characters' attack +1 within 4 squares. Friendly character with Kryptonian keyword makes an attack after resolutions. They can use sidestep. She's really good. She's a point investment, yes, but she is crazy. Crazy way to get one of your other characters where you want them to go. She's awesome. I like Diana. Now we'll move into the other types of chases that I considered, that being the colossal ones. First one being Mr. Mind. This is mostly because you can have little Mr. Mind on the sideline. I faced them a couple times. One time, little Mr. Mind was put on his last click to get the perplex, and they rolled a critical miss with him, so he died. So that was just kind of silly. So that's one thing to keep in mind. If you're putting Mr. Mind, the little one, on the sideline to attack through the big one, just in case, don't put him on his last click because you can't prob him. Nobody else can use prob on him because he is not actually on the board. But yeah, animal armor robot vehicle. I didn't realize that that's what this was, but the sculpt itself I think is awesome. Just a giant caterpillar. Just seeing that on the board is hilarious. That's the main reason I really like him, is him being able to allow the little one out there to do his mind controls. But he is still a good figure by himself. Charging, 4 attack, like even on his lowest dial, 4 damage. He's got the shape change, but succeeds on a 4 through 6. Oh yeah, this was the other main reason. When he uses it and succeeds after resolutions, deal 2 damage to an opposing character other than the attacker within range and line of fire. And his range is 5. Line of fire isn't difficult to achieve when he's colossal. But yeah, free damage when he succeeds on a 50-50 shape change. I will take that. And he's got a stop click. Just one stop click, kind of in the middle of his lower dial, but still, always good to have a stop. Now the last one, last chase, last big boy, Flash Raptor. This was probably from the beginning, the colossal that I wished I could get. But I love him. Animal Pass Speedster, not as varied on the keywords that he could have, but Justice League is always good, and Past is probably the big one for him. But one, Quake is free, but only if he hit with an attack this turn. Fine. But that's not that hard to do when he's got hypersonic speed, when he uses it after resolution, choose a friendly character. That Flash Raptor moved through that took damage since your last turn and place them adjacent to Flash Raptor. Again, listening to the podcast from Dial H with this as a way to do the Jefferson bomb. Another really good chase. I played against him yesterday. He's crazy. So I wouldn't mind it. That was close. After yesterday, I considered just putting Jefferson onto this list because I hadn't realized how crazy he was with the time breakers. But yeah, Flash Raptor, great way to save your characters if they've been hit. If they get out there and they've been hit, he can pull them back during his hypersonic. Boost defense if they share keywords. Quake is free, and he's colossal, so he could quake from 3 away. And his entire dial, 50-50 super senses. I like him. I like him a lot. Probably play him just at 50 just to get the other good stuff on your team, but I really like this Flash Raptor. Anyway, this is a longer video. Let me know what you think of my list of top 5 from each rarity in Masters of Time. What ones would you have put there instead? Is there something about any of these that I didn't point out? What would you pair these characters with for your teams? What have you already used? I haven't done that many because I didn't get much of the set, but we will probably make some more casual team building videos with some of these figures later on. Let me know what you want to hear more about. Let's have a discussion in the comments below. I love talking about Heroclix, and I am thankful for all the people. Thank you for those subscribers. Not too many of you, but you're awesome. I love being able to talk Heroclix with people, and I hope to hear from more of you. Again, I'm Rory. Rory has been Clicks Fix, and I hope we satisfied your hankering for some Heroclix content today. Thank you. Talk to you later.